possibility, from rage. That's why I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam, how the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
You know, I'm 32 years old now, and I've been clinically depressed since I was 17 years old. And ever since I started listening to you a couple of months ago, bro, I don't even need to hear the word depression. I don't even care about that because that's not anything that I identify with anymore.
Nice.
I'm 100% cured. I'm 100% better because I've been listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you. And I just can't even, begin to tell you how much I really appreciate the things that you're doing for young men. Young men need to hear this, and young men need to know this message that you're delivering because it's important. It's vital to their lives, Jesse. I just wanted to let you know that, man.
That's amazing. I mean, you made my day, man. When I hear one soul has returned to the Father, it's like 1,000. It's better than silver and gold. So God bless you, man. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Thursday. What a fine Thursday it is to be back with you today. Got a bit of a show for you. There's kind of plenty to talk about concerning America, liberation, and beyond. You know, it was interesting watching yesterday, and we'll see what happens, right? But I think it's quite amazing what's happening. If I'm truly understanding what I'm seeing, I want to paint the picture as best as I can for all of you. What I'm seeing here, this is a wrecking ball, like I was describing. The enemies, that so-called enemies Trump is making, but he really is coming in like he came to divide, okay? And he's dividing for Christ. I think you'll allow me here. I have some time. I have some time with you to explain all this, to describe what's going on, okay? Because America is basically holding up the international money system. And this guy is saying, we're taking a wrecking ball to it, and we're doing it for America. And it's kind of amazing when you really lay it out, maybe. So we'll get into a number of things today. What can I say? There's we might even revive. We might even have to invoke the spirit of old Biden, of pre-cloned Biden, of Democrat in Congress Biden. We might have to invoke his spirit later today concerning some concerning news, right? They're talking about Stappins and all this. They're talking about King Kong blood. But I also got an example of a individual, a young black man, who I think is a great example on handling so-called racism internationally. And we'll see if America how America will handle I Show Speed showing love to China. I don't know. Some people have been saying I'm CCP owned. Maybe nobody, maybe just one person. But we'll get into a number of things today. There's plenty to get into. You could talk with the Anchor Baby if there's something on your mind. 888-775-3773. I'm live on YouTube. It's a pleasure to be back. Nice to see all of you here. I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola, and of course, punchy.tv. Make sure you make an account on punchy.tv. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let me get situated here because we did our housekeeping. Make sure you click the like button. Don't be rude. Remember, y'all, knit is black, says Lord Xenu. Thank you for reminding the folks, Lord Xenu. You know what I was considering? I needed to get a second opinion, considering I'm black at heart, but genetically, right? My hair's a little different. But I'm thinking. You see, I'm kind of at this swarthy length right now where I have to really to get the curls right, especially to be camera ready. There's a little bit of science to it. And I'm thinking, last night I was thinking, man, if only I had something to cover. Don't they have things that they cover their hair with to protect the curls overnight? Is that a do-rag? Is that something of the sort? I may be justified. All I'm trying to say is that I may be justified in using a do-rag, like seriously. To protect the curl tech, the science behind the curls. Honestly, I just want to cut this all off. But anyways, hey, welcome to the show. What was I talking about? Welcome. I'm just saying I might be justified in wearing a do-rag to protect the curls. A silky. Thank you, Lord Xenu. Okay, but anyways, and it wouldn't be LARPing, like it'd be justified. But anyways, so let's get into it here. What else do I have to do here? Let me welcome the super chatters here. I got a couple super chats already. And I do appreciate the continued support. Terry, always a pleasure. Lin Yan Chin, appreciate that, man. Says, he who pranceth hath senteth me to present, hath sentence. Apologies, let me start again. Let me do that again, Lin Yan Chin. He who pranceth hath senteth my presence to thine bloused abode, thine holy dwelling covered in spakaroo power. May your genius bloom into life. Lin Yan Chin, thanks for your I appreciate your support, man. And I wouldn't even know what I have to do next to level up if it wasn't. Now, I don't know what level I am, but whatever. But I wouldn't even know where to look within if you didn't tell me how much mouth breathing I was doing. Thanks, Lin Yan Chin. Back-to-back super chat says, here, have more of my money. I haven't made a family, so my money isn't very useful to me. But Lin Yan Chin, no comment. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Put the money to use. Chaos Confessional, thank you so much for the hot dog in the chat. Everybody put a hot dogs in the chat for Chaos Confessional and all the supporters of the show. All right, so what else? Nick is rebelling against the Zelensky look. You think so? Yeah, I'm letting the swarthoid out. The swarthoid? What are you? What oid are you? Are you a sanid, pseudonid, negroid? I'm not being racist. That's just science stuff. Maybe more on that later. Because right now I want to talk about Liberation Day. We watched a bit of that yesterday. Trump definitely went even more than an hour. Okay, kind of unplanned, but I have to say, the speech itself, you could say, okay, it's like, okay, we get it, enough. But that being said, the content, like what's happening, if I'm gathering what's happening, and you guys will tell me, 888-775-3773, oh, you're overblown, it's ridiculous, or you're seeing it totally wrong. But this economic thing going on is a little bit more significant than I thought. So what went down is the actual tariffs, the actual tariff plan that Trump has been teasing for some time now, dropped yesterday. Okay, and I was telling you yesterday what I wanted. I don't know if I would exactly understand, but it seems major. Right? CNN, Trump's latest actions represent the most significant escalation in U.S. tariffs in nearly a century. And when I take in who is mad about this, when I take in, it's quite significant, the forces that oppose this. And if it really should be somewhat clear by now, but this really solidifies kind of the divide here going on politically in the world. Is basically old teams trying to link up, afraid. Don't touch the machine, you're going to break it. But it's broken. Look, our people, they're being stabbed by Muslims. There's poop in the streets. No. Don't touch the system. We need stability. We're the global economy. We're the post-World War II order. We're holding order, right? So, Liberation Day. And to describe a little bit of what I'm seeing, I got to, I guess, paint a little bit of a picture here about how I'm seeing America's economy. It's big. That we know. It's big and bad. It's just there's a lot of money, okay. But they're also, the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, okay? Meaning a whole bunch of banks around the world hold a bunch of U.S. dollars to facilitate all sorts of trade, all sorts of trading throughout the whole world. In fact, it's like 60% of reserves. I had it right here. Hold on. 60% of reserves in the world, central bank reserves, are in the U.S. dollar. So you understand, you've heard this. It's a currency. It's the world currency. But how does an economy, how does a currency become a world reserve currency? A bit of a deeper question than I thought. A remarkably deep question, actually. How does a currency become the world currency? So a number of things, right? Historically, a whole bunch of stuff happened. Let me summarize. I'm not trying to spend too much time here. Big old wars, coalescing of power and money. Let's summarize that under military geopolitical power, okay? But it's like, there's other requirements here. There's other requirements for the banks in the world to agree on some system and agree on the money that we're going to use to facilitate this system. They have to trust this currency. And when the currency is backed by the world's largest, even with whatever, when it's backed by the world's largest economy, there's your trust, there's your stability. So I'm trying to describe some of the relationships, economic relationships going on here. How we got here, it's the world's reserve currency. okay, you understand that's one kind of little piece of evidence to try and prove the following statement, that America, seemingly to me, it's my impression, America is this pillar to the global trade system. Another piece of evidence is deficit. All these countries, the deficit is what? How much money these foreign countries get from selling their goods over here. How much money we're giving out, right? And this is a special relationship. America holds a special relationship that they call that the French called. This is for the political history people. But the French called this their exorbitant privilege. The American exorbitant privilege. You have the largest economy, printing the world's reserve currency. You have the privilege of printing more of it to buy more stuff. Yeah, that has its effects. I'm sure it has its economic effects. They call it inflation. There's all sorts of things, right? But I'm trying to describe this inverse relationship now you see with the international trade system and the people back at home. You know, the imagine for a moment the economy, this ox that you could whip it a little harder, you know. It might hurt. You might take away some of this or that. You could take away some of this or that from your cattle at home, so you could put it over here. But there's a bit of an inverse relationship. And so and they call it trade deficit, right? So there's money going out. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, that exorbitant privilege of being able to print money. I'm describing the relationship between being able to do such a thing and the negative effects it might have on your own economy, but how willing a leadership might be willing to allow that to happen, right? There's some wiggle room there. Like they can handle it, they could take it. It's for the global monetary system. That crudely describes this internationalism that you've maybe vaguely heard railed against, but that kind of like crudely describes that relationship, this internationalism relationship of trade, and how the status quo essentially is free trade, this global system that facilitates trade everywhere. What happens what happens with a system like that? But on top of that, you have all these countries with their desire to get ahead or whatever, to put it simply. Well, you have this setup where they're able to keep up this trade deficit and blow it up higher and higher through regulation and what they call non-monetary barriers, through other ways of blocking the Americans. It's a way of putting a finger on a scale, so to speak. Now, I almost want to shy away from such terminology. Like, it is let me just stop there. It's like a triple side note, but it's a way of putting a thumb on a scale in a sense in a trade negotiation, right? And so these trade deficits can blow up ever higher. But for the internationalist, it's fine. The system is working. It's not about Americans anymore. It's about this international system. So a little crude on how the currency becomes the world's trade reserve currency and a little bit of what's going on. But moving on here, let me see if I can get to this. Where are my notes? I guess to further describe, I mean, I'm trying to move on from this, but to describe, I guess, this scam I see, sort of. But you get these foreign countries that could flood goods into the U.S. You can't really compete with them due to regulation and all that. The internationalists is fine with that. In many of their eyes, we have too much. We have enough. We can handle a little pain, right? And then what do they do with the money they get from all this trade? They buy up American assets. So there's a big scam that Trump has been trying to deal with for a while now. A lot of pushback from the left, from the right. And essentially, this relationship has gone too far for Trump. It's gone much too far. The Americans can only handle so much. And he's basically done with it. You understand? Many of his voters are. But he's up. You got to understand what he's up against, right? And how this Liberation Day seems to me to show quite a seriousness to this undertaking, because what this undertaking would entail is wrecking the international system as it stands. It relies on America. You don't make anything here. And then to make the money work and stretch it, you got to do all this moving. Cheap labor, all this crazy stuff. Modern monetary theory, inflation. It's like, but the Americans. It's like, well, whose shoulders does that have to land on? It has to be the Americans, for it is the global reserve. It is the economy, giving that confidence to the world to keep this empire going, to keep this experiment going. And Trump's saying, you know what? We could be prosperous, amazing, and all that, but we'll do it for us. We'll do it at America. No more. This is criminal. This is criminal. How the people with money, the Democrats, etc., the people have been talked about, those forces that wish this status quo to continue for stability, fear, lack of vision, willing to come up with just another unreal solution to something that requires just short-term pain, because you got to do it right now. You got to do it the right way now because you've been doing it the wrong way for so long. So you got to go through short-term pain to deal with it the right way. You could file so many things with the government under that. And it's none of that, right? They don't want to do it the right way. It's like another unreal solution. So that's the forces that wish to continue this. The courage. I'm gathering the courage and the confidence and to not be deterred by the incessant voices of the world. The world is afraid. I was thinking a little bit too about like dictators. Don't they say that Gaddafi freed up his economy? He essentially, what did he do? He nationalized oil. He basically cut himself off from this international system. But anyway, that's a side note. I see Trump dividing and making enemies and getting the ire of the similar forces like Gaddafi and stuff. You understand? He is taking a huge wrecking ball to this, it seems. And so this is what came down. They're saying, like CNN is calling, the most significant escalation in nearly a century. And essentially, you saw maybe a bit yesterday, the major two things is a flat, like what I gathered here. Let's get into this right here. CNN, because it's like a flat 10% tariff, like for everyone, that's awesome. It's like, we are rebuilding in America. We are doing it. We are. So hopefully you saw some of the deep roots that are in the way of this. Europe, the UN, this global order, because it's ideological as well. When you have this like America first policy and you're saying, we're us, that's the UN, we don't even agree with them, you go against them. That's that global order that's being wrecked in a sense. But for us, for the truth, for the right thing, to be the president of America, which is what he is and what there hasn't been for so long, seemingly. So I'm going long-winded on this, but I'm going to keep going because this is just the only way I have to describe all this. It's all this economic stuff and all that, but it's huge. This is like seemingly huge. Well, I'll keep paying attention, but when I realized the forces that he's going up against, that he's opposing here without fear, that's a spiritual battle, man. That's everything. He's going up against Europe, the old order, like all this, and they're so afraid. So where was I with this? It's like the things that are in the way of being an awesome country, of making amazing things and doing great, just doing the right thing, for example. The things that oppose that is like women and, how do I put this? Like that weak female spirit, like put it like this. That's really what opposes it, because the real, one of the main kind of spiritual forces that can't handle what Trump is doing is this notion of like, you're going too fast, it's too mean, it's too tough, it's too about you. You know, what Trump is doing is saying, remember, they're cutting USA. He's saying, you guys got to do it on your own. And you understand the world that likes this the people that like this international order, that's a huge sin to them, because we have too much. We have enough. It's time to give it to the rest of the world. But the rest of the world is squandering it. They don't have it either. The world has problems, and the only way to overcome is to look within and get better. To do the thing that's painful in the short term, so that something may change. I don't know. To put it that way, you understand me. To do the thing in the short term, and the world doesn't want to do that. And it's like, all they need is money. All they need is this international system that continues to take and pilfer from America because you just have to. There's a number of reasons here, right? That's one big one. It's like, you just have to because we have too much, and progressivism and racism, and colonialism. And then it's just foreign enemies who just want to get up. People who just want more, want stuff, So that's how I see this scam a bit and what he's up against. And the afraid people who say, you can't do that. It's too tough. It's racist. It's too manly. It's too right. It's Europe. It's the Starmers, the people going against there are politicians who, let me see if I can remember this. Because one was a woman, an Italian woman. Didn't she try to handle immigration? And what happened with that? Nothing. Everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. We love you. We want you to do it. Then some legal issues happen. This woman, Marine Le Pen, France, no? She's like, all right, folks, let's deal with this immigration thing. It's crazy. Let's do it. We're going to get her elected. Last I heard, now she's facing jail time. Anyways, you understand, I'm doing my best here to describe this picture here, but those are the forces afraid of Trump. And it's so evil. And it's amazing that it came to divide in the way that he's doing with all this. And they're like, no, don't mess with the order. Don't mess with the order. Don't mess with the international system. We got to have aid, and we got to have, the enemy's Russia. Meanwhile, there's like Muslims stabbing their women. There's like foreigners crapping on the streets. London, not the same, ain't the same London, but Germany, whatever. So what else about this? What a wrecking ball it seems. So I told you the news, right? 10% basically. So Trump announced 10% tariff on all imports and even higher tariffs on goods. And it seems to be varied with every nation, but everybody's getting it. Everybody's getting it. And it seems to be varied depending on how much they put on America. They're calling it reciprocal. But it's measured seemingly, it's different for every country. Sometimes half, sometimes more or less than what they're putting on America. So what do y'all think about this? Like, tell me where I'm off. Like, this is what I'm seeing. Like, this is the stuff they have wars over, no? I'm not saying that what's coming. I'm just thinking about the dictators again. Now, I know I'm a little ignorant here, but in many ways, they made enemies of the world because of wanting to get away from this international system, this internationalism that requires, well, first of all, like, consider one concept here. It at a snap of a finger, now your neighbor here, your neighbor down the street is also competing with the world. Anyways, So anyways, now let's just move on, I think. Wait and see. So true. Wait and see. We're talking about a wrecking ball. Do you see it? Anyways, I think I'm done with all this. What else do I want to tell you about this? Yep. What else about it? You get it, right? Trump. I want to keep going, but what else is there to say? They've made their bets. It's a nightmare, in my opinion, these wars, says Kevin Howe. Yeah, it does cause wars. America having another brother war with Europe and Canada is a nightmare, in my opinion. But imagine, Kevin Howe. Well, you're not wrong. And I think I understand what you're saying, Kevin Howe. Isn't that what they say about Germany, for example? The British pound was the reserve currency. Do you think it stopped being the reserve currency? Just oh well, put her there, world. Put her there, European brothers. Let's just a handshake. It's a good try. We tried our best. We wanted to keep the reserve currency. How do you think that went down? I'll tell you right now, it wasn't peaceful. My impression, let me be accurate with what I know and what I don't know. My impression is that it wasn't peaceful. The British pound being the reserve currency, right? Germany. That's a whole nother can of worms, right? Germany. But I think that's, Kevin Howe, are you somewhat even, maybe you didn't necessarily mean all that, but am I in the ballpark? Reserve currencies don't go up and down peacefully. It's it's a big deal. But anyways, appreciate that, Freedom Music. Thanks for the super chat here. Says, glad to have you back, Nico. New Ye album tonight. That's tonight? No way. Birdie Bound Brian, thank you, man, for the super chat. Says they can't keep a real one down. Always appreciated, sir. You know it. And all my supporters on Rumble will never be forgotten. Through the hard times. Jules, DJT, Zorak. Have you been enjoying? Hey, what's up, Derek, Ivana? Have you all been enjoying this Rumble? This more calm Rumble? You can you can take a bus down to the city and go to YouTube, see what they're up to, but then you can go back to your nice little country over there on Rumble. What do you think? Where the riff-raff remains over on YouTube? About a century ago, the Germans faced hyperinflation, then World War II. Take a public bus to the city. Riff-raff over there at YouTube. So, any more economic ramblings about what may happen? Europe, what they're afraid of. I think we're done with all that. Look, check this out. Speaking of third world economies, or economies in general, I mentioned the Indian scammers yesterday. I mentioned a couple of things, right? Not too long ago, I was telling you how there was a flip in internet usership and demographics. Way more of the world is on it, basically. To summarize, the way more of the world is on the internet than ever before. We're nearing global levels never seen before. And when you really look at it, Americans and even smaller subs, white people, but even just a Western culture mindset, language, and speaking proper English, for example, is a minority in the world. It kind of hits you more as you see, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be out there in the trenches, and it's oh man, this is not a real person. It's constantly, I'm this is not a real person. This is not a real American person from Minnesota. This is an Indian. Or this is a, do they know? Do they know? Do they know that they're Indian? Or something else, right? The African Twitter is nuts. It's pretty cool. They have these crazy threads, straight up Africa Twitter. Fascinating. But anyways, I'm just describing some things here. I came across one of these threads here describing this new attention to massive scamming networks from India. I know Elon brought some major attention to this, but it's such a brazen hacking of like the things we use. How do I put it? It's almost humorous, and it's almost humorous if it wasn't. Anyway, but whatever. So basically, you get engagement on the internet. You can get ads, you get money. Call it engagement farming, okay? And it's not always hard. It's not always easy to tell, because what constitutes like really? Damn, this is hard. What actually constitutes posting some things like sincerely, and what constitutes just clickbaiting? Well, there's a number of things, like maybe just copying content is maybe one criteria, but anyways, they do this thing where they're not real Americans. They're just on Facebook using AI. AI has allowed them to do amazing things. So what you got to do is, where is it? They use AI to generate state-themed art for the quilts and recycle similar stories about autistic sons. Where is it? Indian scammers have a massive network of state pride-themed Facebook groups they appear to have taken over. These groups have hundreds of thousands of members each. They're mostly Gen Xers and boomers. Scammers are mod admins. They recycle real content daily that fits the theme to farm engagement, but also scam their followers with these fake quilts. These quilts are fake, they're saying. They're saying they're not real. It's like, look, I make these quilts. I make these state-themed quilts, and it's like totally AI generated. My son is autistic, and he is a graphic designer. Please pray for my son, and he has started a small online business. Please support my son. This is a quilt designed by my son. He asked you, what do you think about this shop? He following the post. Please encourage him. Please order here. That's not even American. Look, the name is not even American. It says Deepika Das. This is not even that difficult to see. But it's just this copy-pasted picture. So that's fraudulent. There's something fraudulent about this. Okay? And where was I going with this? I was thinking about radical economic policies with this. Like, imagine for a moment, Trump said, and tomorrow, by executive order, I will ban all payments, all social media payments to foreigners, to nationals of foreign countries from social media companies situated right in America or something like that. I don't know. That's probably radical, right? I'm the radical here. That's why I'm not president. But imagine what would happen is, like, you can't. Now the other countries would have to, like, work on their social medias. They got to kind of do their thing. They want to get paid through social media, right? I don't know if you need to do that to deal with scammers, but anyways, I was thinking about this thing I bought too. This thing for my MacBook. It's a hub that allows me to connect monitor and Ethernet cable. It expands the ports on my MacBook, which only has like 2 USB-Cs. And I saw a number of listings. And I went with the cheaper Chinese one. And it worked for a bit, and then it stopped working. And I realized, this product is in a little bit of a gray area. This brand new MacBook, what I'm dealing with, the layer that's the problem here is the software communication with the proprietary software of Apple. I should have known better. And I was thinking about how educated you have to be to properly buy things and protect yourself when buying goods. That's a third world economy. I get this impression that's a particularly third worldy kind of thing, third world economy. The requirement of now there's something about our side, I don't necessarily that's good about that either. There's another side to the coin here, maybe, about trusting systems and trusting the world so much. But if Americans, if white people created a system so good that they got fat and sassy and trusted it so amazingly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling like this, having to be very educated. You're scrolling down Amazon. This was on Amazon that I bought this. I'm trying to be clear here. I bought this on Amazon. You have to be quite educated in exactly what you're doing online. You have to be up, or else you run the risk of a scam, of something going wrong, right? You guys are giving me the L for buying the Chinese tech, and it's like, that's another thing. We import almost all electronics. We used to be the major powerhouse of the world for that. And I know Carver's saying I always go with the cheaper Chinese one because Carver, he's probably a discerning shopper. And in some respects, I know that the cheaper Chinese one is fine because in a certain I'm trying to think of a good example. Sometimes in industry that's like this certain piece or whatever is like became famous under this brand, but at this point years later the generic thing is just as good, and right, in some cases that's true. And so Carver knows a bit, but in this case it wasn't. I gotta say, in this case it wasn't, and I got hit with the time bomb, this hub that worked for a bit until the refund thing was up, and now it's like whatever, now it doesn't work. But what was I saying? I'm just kind of talking about my impressions of a third world economy, the things that we shall increasingly have to deal with, and the war, and the afraid people holding hands against Trump are totally fine with that. But Trump has the courage to go up against those people to deal with what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying here? Now you see what I'm saying, right? Okay, that's enough. L knit, he bought the Chinese. Okay. Shout out China. Stay on that scam game on the Americans. It's not necessarily scam. It's just like Mickey Mousey and stuff. Like, I bet you that hub would work with a MacBook that's a little bit older. But anyways, where was I going with this? So you get it. You get it. Third world economy. But it can get pretty crazy, though. It can get pretty nasty. Check this out. Now, not all of you are getting plastic surgery, I'm sure. And is this third world? Like, maybe not necessarily, but I wanted to mention this story because you could kind of thematically fit that whole concept of fending for yourself, having to be extra educated. You can't quite trust the forum, the institution forum, expert opinion of XYZ thing that you did trust before, that had credibility before. It is quickly crumbling, in my opinion. And you get stuff like this where people are, it's like, well, you could buy it, right? I mean, I walked into a clinic. I walked into the store. It's right there on the front. You're telling me if I drink a whole bunch of these, I could seriously harm myself? It's right there. It's legal. I could walk into this clinic and the surgeon tells me I can make you beautiful. I could do this, no problem. And it turns out he has a whole history of terrible stuff. And it's like, wow, you mean I have to do my research on doctors and find out background checks and make sure what I'm doing here? Like, maybe don't get plastic surgery, but that's maybe a different topic. Plastic surgeon who butchered faces of multiple females is allowed to carry on cutting. Dr. Harvey Chip Cole, not necessarily a third world name. Harvey Chip Cole. Let me show you Harvey Chip Cole. Oh no, we'll get to Harvey because I guess we have to go through the females with the terrible things done to their faces. So where are we here? Harvey Chip Cole. His profile indicates he does not have any hospital privileges. Wait, where am I? Okay, a Georgia plastic surgeon accused of butchering the faces of multiple female patients has had his medical license renewed. 10 former patients are claiming this Harvey Chip Cole permanently disfigured them Uh, weird details that the hospital he was working at doesn't even report him working there. Weird criminal stuff, maybe. Attorneys are calling this renewal of their license a slap to the face of their clients. This is why civil justice is so important, says this lawyer. But you can see with this first lady, I mean, that doesn't look right. But sometimes faces can get like that after, like, I don't know if is it multiple plastic surgeries, or is it that one goes wrong, or is it that back in the day, you remember some of these actresses, they get these blown up faces. Is it that it's just a lot of plastic surgery, or is it a one botch one, a few I don't know. But this doesn't look normal. And I guess this is your Harvey Chip Cole, Dr. Harvey Chip Cole. Some curly hair. Swarthy. I don't know. But yeah, look at this. This is terrible. That is not good. That's you did something wrong there. You put something back in the wrong place, man. That's actually terrible. And she seemed fine here on the left. What the devil makes you do and then allows you to see and then laughs. Because, look, I mean, she seems totally fine here. What kind of plastic surgery did you need? I don't understand. But this is terrible. And it's like, I think here, just in a moment, you'll see how just a little bit of research would have, like, let me see, where did I put it? Where is it in this Daily Mail article? It seemed like it was I got the impression that it wasn't even that difficult to exactly find how weird this guy was, but that you would need to do such a thing, right? That's kind of like the income in America, in my opinion. This it might be a function of third worldism, internationalism, immigration, not America. It may also be a function of the advancing world, technological wise and all that. But where was I? Yeah, that you have to fend for yourself here increasingly to levels you never given that to, like the things you have to check on and be up on so that you aren't harmed. Kimberling was left with permanent brain injuries. Yeah, there's some pretty nasty ones, but you get the point here. Oh, yeah, okay, like you get the point here. Some of these are pretty bad. But that one lady was crazy, right? The eyes. That's terrible. So, I don't even know how you correct such a thing. But, wow, what the devil makes you do. So anyways, the third world fake economy, scamming and all that. It's time to make stuff in America and deport Harvey Chip Cole. Maybe he's an American, but he can figure that out over in El Salvador. How about that? How about that, Mr. President? Can we play a game that someone sent me? Someone sent me a little link, and they said to me, Nick, I found a game that someone as autistic as you might enjoy. So let's get into a little bit of a game. I'm also being told this is, in fact, might be the most racist game ever. I want to say racism doesn't exist. I don't even believe in such a thing. Love all people. That's what my channel's about. But they're saying it is the most racist game. So I want to play it with you guys here real quick. Someone sent this to me. They thought of me upon looking at this game. And it's called Ethno Guesser. Here's a fun/difficult game, Ethno Guesser. They show you average photos of people from a particular racial/ethnic group, male and female, and you have to guess where on a world map they are from. Amerindians can wreck your score by being 5,000 miles off. So how autistic, racist am I? Let's play a little Ethno Guesser. Let's see if I can. Now, let's see if I. Okay, well, hold on. Ethno Guesser. Let's just Google that, I guess. Ethno Guesser. Here we go. How to play. This game uses anthropological data from humanphenotypes.net. You will be shown male and female facial averages from a given ethnic group. Your job is to guess on the map where they are from historically. So let's see here. Sounds fun. Okay, so human phenotypes. What are you? What are you? See, that's a Gobid from the group Tungid. Okay, we'll get back to this. We'll get back to this. So let's get into Ethno Guesser Daily Game. Let's see here. Click to place your guess. Where does this ethnic group originate from? There's no such thing, right? We're all the same. Or am I being racist? Okay, I know a Sudanese. I knew a Sudanese when I seen one. I knew a Sudanese when I seen one, right? Let's go right here. Boom. Let's go right there. I know them. I done seen them. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, no, that was an easy one, right? Or am I racist? Was that easy or am I racist? Are we about to find out? Okay, that's a Ghanaian, the Ghanaians or the Ugandan? You know, he looks like Martin Sempa. He looks like Brother Sempa here, no? Our Brother Sempa, we love Brother Sempa. Isn't Martin Sempa from Uganda? That's a Ugandan. I'm going Uganda on this one, boys. Uganda. Oh, come on. Let's go. Let's go. I'm incredible. That was easy, right? Okay, what's this? That's an Alien Omar if I ever done seen one. This is a... I'm going to go with a Ethiopian kind of thing. But this is an ethnic group they originate from. So it's not necessarily... Like a lot of ethnic groups moved around, right? So, but anyways, I don't think these people moved anywhere. They stayed in Ethiopia. They look like Ethiopians. They stayed in Ethiopia. We're confirming the guess. We're kind of not too far. We're kind of not too far there. Okay, my score was higher than the average. All right. What do we got here? Nit, stop it right now. Why? Whoever said this to me is right. This is maybe up my alley. I need to know all the different phenotypes now and make sure I get a perfect score on this. Okay, now that's... You see now this... Is this a trick? Because that's another one from this same area, I gotta say. This is... We're in the same... We're still here. We're still here somewhere. I'm just gonna put it in the same area. I'm not that racist. I don't know. Yeah, come on. We're in the same area. Oh, there's information on what we're looking at. A North Ethiopid. Okay, so that's the average face of the North Ethiopid. Ethiopid subtype that is often regarded as a northern branch of East Ethiopid. Shows some morphological affinities with Mediterranean. All right, chill out. That's getting too racist for me. All right, chill out. Ethiopid. Next, you're going to say Negroid. Okay, we're almost done here. Now, what's that? Now, what do we got here? Kind of Zelensky-like. Yeah. That's one of these people. One of these people, or somewhere around here. That's one of these peeps. Let's go, boom. From this kind of area. Oh, come on. This is too easy. I'm amazing at this. I'm incredible at this. Mongoloid. I don't even know if that's a real thing. But I'm going to say this is one of them, one of them Eastern Siberian types. You know what I'm saying? Like over here somewhere. One of them Eastern Siberian types. You feel me? Let's see here. All right, okay. I was off. Definitely off. Not even in the light red. See, now what would be now that would be nice to know. What's the difference? There's a difference apparently. Okay, well, that's a Kapoor. That's my buddy. Okay, that's my buddy A. Kapoor. I grew up with this guy. Okay, that's over here. That's not even. That's you know how racist or autistic I am. That's a West Indian, I think. Because those East Indians and then South Indians, you start getting like Tamil. So that's a West Indian. That's a Kapoor. Okay, I was off. No, wait, we got a big red circle here in like West India. So I wasn't too off. Yeah, that's a Kapoor. All right, it's easy peasy. All right, that's a Zelensky. What do we got here? What do we got, chat? You guys go. This one's on you, chat. This is Zelenskyite? Kazakh? A Turk? Turkmenistan? We're almost done here. What do we got here? This is Zelenskyite. Kind of ish. What kind of score am I going to get? Let's go Ukraine with that one. Let's go Ukraine. Okay, drum roll. Oh, wow, we're off. These are like more Armenians. Like an An Armenid. Armenids. This is like an Armenid, as they're being called. Armenoid. Armenids and Armenoid. See, an Armenid is pure, and an Armenoid is like Armenid mixed with something else. So there you go. That's how you got to get your score up. That's how you really, really get autistic. You could tell between the Zelenskyites and the Armenids. This game is inappropriate. Okay, last one. All right, this is a little bit of a, what do we got here? I think this is a jungle Asian. I know that's probably not what you call them, but let's see here. Where do we place this one? You know where we're going with this one? We're going to this area. Yeah. Let's go around here. The jungles. What do we got? Wow, way off. Check it out. Look at that. That was like the Russian Sanid types, kind of Asian mixed Mongoloid type, Kazakhstan area. Huh. Guess I'm not that racist. So anyways, that was fun. Did we win? I got 0 on that. I got 0 on the other one. Now this is the last one apparently. What do you guys think? This one's what? One of them Mongoloids, no? One of them Eastern Siberian types. Let's go over here again. Let's go over here. Amazing. You scored an average of 3,139 over 10 rounds. I had 2 perfect rounds. And I was off about the Eastern Siberian types. This is a different kind of thing. So, okay, I'm somewhat racist. I don't know. This game is very inappropriate. Okay, I love the world. I love the cultures of the world. I try and learn a song in every language. I've been meaning to get back to that work, that very important work. And I love the world, okay? Just looking at the world a little bit, ethno guesser. Someone sent this to me. They said I would like it. But I got to ask a question for the fellas, all right? This is a question for the fellas. Ladies, I need you to leave the room. I need you to leave the chat, okay? Let me know when you leave. This is a question for the fellas. All right, Bill, thanks for coming in. I'm glad you came in. Perfect timing. This is a question for the fellas. Bill, if you look upon your screen, thoughts. Yay, nay, fellas. Bill just stared for a while and said, then looked at me and said, Neanderthal. You're in fact correct. Yes, Bill, you have identified what they're saying is a recreation of a Neanderthal face from a skull. I don't know how close and how real this is, but the question remains, Bill, yay or nay? What? Bill's going like this. All right, fellas. Yeah. A little. Is this the Marjorie Taylor Greene phenotype? Neanderthal. I don't think Neanderthal went away. Shout out to MTG. She's a nice lady, I'm sure. And I'm not really calling her Neanderthal. That's mean, right? That's rude. The phenotype has continued, maybe. But I'm with Bill a bit. I like small, little features. Little features. Like a big mouth Mexican is nice, but a big face, have you seen those big? Anyways, now shout out to y'all. Like a big mouth Latina, that's cool. But it's there's another thing. Moving on from all this, fellas, let me look at what the chat is saying. Are we sure she ain't black? What the? That is not what Nick was asking. W. Bill. You're getting W's in the chat, Bill. W means win. You're a winner, as opposed to L. So, yeah. That was very informative, Nick. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Shout out to local Neanderthal Grotte de la Placente 1. Her skull was notably covered in red ochre. Researchers suggest that it may have been applied to emulate the lighter pigmentation of Grotte de la Placente 2, whatever that is. These revelations force us to reconsider not only Neanderthal genetics, migration patterns, and social behaviors, but also their potential for cultural complexity. What, you're scoffing? Oh, no, never mind. I misunderstood you. Whoa, what's this? Is this Trump as Neanderthal? What am I looking at here? Time to wrap this up. This was, of course, an April Fool's joke. Oh. Did we just get... Well, it's not like I believe this, but... What the heck is this? Let's move on. This has gone too far. Elon Musk. Someone get Elon Musk on the job. We've gone way too far with AI. All right. Anyways, no such thing as Neanderthal, some are saying in the chat. But, speaking of savagery, if we may switch gears a little bit. Speaking of absolute barbarism and savagery, can we talk about the Frisco stabbing briefly here? This Frisco stabbing thing, man. You heard about this, Bill? Yeah. So now I've been trying to pay attention to get details of the moment it went down. And I don't know if it's like a morbid thing. I mostly just kind of was paying attention to news to see if I could report something different. If it was anything, it was just my bloody producer mindset looking for something unique to present. But essentially, as far as I know, the story goes, and according to the father, that this 17-year-old student here, let me see if I can pull up the quote about the confrontation itself, how it went down, according to the father here. Now, this was already reported, I believe, but allow me here. Because they were, according to Jet Metcalf, they were sitting there and someone was behind them mouthing off, and they turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." We now know the one accused of murder, the black individual, his name is Carmelo. So Jet Metcalf told Fox 4, they were sitting there and someone was behind them mouthing off, and they turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." And they said, "Well, you don't belong here. You don't go to Memorial." He had a Centennial tracksuit on. They said, "Well, you need to leave. This ain't your spot," Jet Metcalf said, the father. And some words were discussed that I'm not going to say on camera, but he asked him to leave, and he basically said, "Make me." And then he wound up stabbing him in the heart and killing him all over someone sitting in the wrong spot at a track meet. Yeah, and this guy died in his twin brother's arms. It's kind of crazy, I honestly thought, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. I try not to have predictions and expectations of things. It's a silly thing, right? You shouldn't be surprised by the world, especially at these heights. But I was thinking a little part of me was thinking at these heights that it wouldn't be that, it would get some attention. Maybe some young people doing the general, I don't know. It's not you guys are focusing on black people, right? Taking this confrontational stance, pro-black, like anti-racist stance. But I honestly thought at these heights that not a lot of that would happen. I'm a little surprised at seeing the old people online. It's just a little bit of this, but seeing this rigmarole of everybody does it. It's evil everywhere, and it's a messed up situation, I'm not one that goes around saying segregate. It's not something that's been a main topic of mine or something I even give too much thought to. I always thought to myself, and I've said it out loud, that if there are two peoples that are seemingly in my mind linked from the beginning of America, it's blacks and whites, and I'd like to see them figure it out, whatever, right? I've said that. I've said out loud how if there's any group that, not that I like them having all these separate political groups, the Black Caucus, is that, but if there's one to parlay with, is the blacks, right? But, and so anyways, what I'm trying to say is I'm not one that's, I'd be LARPing, right? I'd be LARPing going around saying it's not something I would say, right? Essentially, not too much thought, but I definitely never felt anything against it. I don't assign all these assumed evils that I was taught about these things that they summarize and call racist. Consider for a moment that I was playing this ethno-guesser game. That's racist. You have to consider this. That is actually considered racist. Like that is kind of like deeply embedded in the definition of that word today. Is this simple, even a simple awareness of differences and traits and different traits between races. That is racist, right? And you see now how some have adopted the term because if some, that's how they take it. It's like, if you're going to call that racist, if you're going to call something reasonable racist, then I'm racist, right? So you see how some have adopted that, but that's a different story. Maybe even misguided in some cases, but whatever. But you understand that all that kind of thinking, all that is mired in this dressed up in this language that has forbidden it. I don't have any of that. I'm just saying I'm not one to go around saying segregation has not been my topic. You heard Jesse say it today. It's a fascinating thing to hear about. And for me, when you take in that you can't force people to love each other, then it makes sense. That makes sense. How else can you do something correct? How else do you have people like that come together in the right way? You got to do the short-term painful thing, which is stop forcing them together. And what are they going to do naturally? Honestly, it's not even like separate. What are they going to do naturally, in my opinion? They're going to like separate for a bit. They already kind of do. Let's look at neighborhoods. Just look at the world, how it is. Even in this multicultural world, you can't do this. It's racist. Just pull up like a demographic map and like a county map and stuff like that. Locales and stuff. They separate themselves. So, what else about this? This Frisco stabbing. It's a mess, man. It's actually nasty stuff. What was I saying about it? Yeah, you heard Jesse say segregate. He didn't say that. He just said. Didn't say that word, did he? But that. How can you live side by side like this? They're so angry at the drop of a hat will escalate something to new levels. And they'll look at a situation like this, and I saw some of this already from old people saying, but what exactly happened? I want to know too, but it's like, what exactly happened? Like in some reality, there is a way. This is mutual combat, and it's just, well, the white kid was wrong too. And I'm seeing that a whole bunch already. And so, just want to comment on that. It's ridiculous. It's so angry, no love, to the point of killing. But sweet Amy in the chat says, "Did I miss Nick reading my super chat?" What super chat are you talking about? Let's do a little checklist of stuff here. Man, thank you so much for the support, everybody. Awesome stuff. You cannot see me. Asks, small question, is there a way that first worlders are better than third worlders? Better. Better. Yeah. Bill, what's a way, is there a way that first worlders are better than third worlders? I'm like you. I like start thinking about the question like, how do I answer this? Like better spiritually or better, right? That's where I go. Like. But yeah, like better in cleanliness. In some cases, food sanitation standards. Stuff like that. In luck, you say? Yeah. What do you mean?
Lucky to be born there.
Oh, how you're saying the first worlder, and you're describing there being better in luck because they're just lucky to be born in that first world.
Right.
Interesting commentary here. Thank you. You cannot see me. Appreciate that. Another back-to-back Rumble super chat there from you. Let's check out Sweet Amy. Derek Looks asks, is the chat not working? Glad to be here, Nick. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks for being a continued supporter. Sweet Amy, I cannot see this super chat you're talking about. Let me refresh here. When was this sent? Today? Sweet Amy had in fact sent one earlier. My apologies. It reads, get a silk pillowcase and your curls will thank you. Okay, so I don't have to get a do-rag. I could just get a silk pillowcase. But I kind of want to get a do-rag. Anyways, Lin Yan Chin, super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, good breakdown on the economy of man's vanity. Thanks, Spakaru Brao-san. Anytime, Lin Yan Chin. Awesome. Sorry I missed those. But yes, no problem. Amazing support. You guys rock. What else can I say here? You know, I'm still thinking about this stabbing, man. You know, in fact, we might have to do something radical here. In fact, in light of this news, we need to revive. We're going to revive for a brief moment here. We're going to revive something here. Hold on. We're going to revive the spirit of Joe Biden. The spirit of allegedly pre-cloned, racist Democrat Congressman Joe Biden. We're bringing him back to team up with I don't know what this bit is, but check this out. Here's Joe Biden. Joe Biden invoking his spirit. See, how do we do this? Hold on here. Where he's going to put him, you know how he said, back in chains? He said, back in chains. We will not tolerate this culture.
We spend a lot of time talking about the United States being a melting pot.
That's not true.
Quite frankly, I think it's overrated.
That's a bunch of malarkey. You can't give me a
statement that we are going to integrate, that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest.
What a disgusting assertion for anyone to make.
Back in chains. Back in chains. We'll put y'all back in chains.
What the Biden?
Trying to find people display Confederate flag. Put y'all back in chains. Back in chains.
Calm down, Biden.
Back in chains.
I'm like the token black.
The black community, that group, that element,
Drugs of society.
What the?
Cultural backgrounds are totally
He said all
different
this?
in terms of our ancestry.
Predators have predators on our streets.
Born out of wedlock, without any conscience, they literally have not been socialized.
We have no choice.
What the? What the Biden? Calm down, Biden, bro. You're going to get me canceled. I disavow such things. Biden, I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know that about Biden. I didn't know he was like that. Some people in the chat are like, based? Yeah. I disavow. Trump still hasn't broken out the chains. What do you mean? Yeah, he was a racist. Some people are saying, what's good for the blacks is good for the... Yeah, I disavow too, Sweet Amy. He's saying, we will not tolerate this culture. Ivana's saying, I avow. Oh, man. Anyways, where's that Biden? He was talking about advocating for bombings in the Middle East like he was giving out candy on Halloween. What's up, Aaron? Biden looks like he wants the whip still. What a mess. Biden. That's funny, guys. Now his mind is gone, says David. Shout out Biden. Wishing you well, sir. But yeah, what was he saying there? That was just, we might have to invoke such a spirit. I don't know. Maybe a little so-called. I'm using this tongue in cheek. You got to understand. I don't like hating anyone. I don't believe in hating anyone. But I'm saying when some are, I bet you some would be alive today if they were a little bit racist in the way the world says you can't be, which is not actually hateful or racist at all. All right, let's move on here. Yeah, let's move on here. I can't quite move on just yet. I know my call's coming in. I want to get right to you, all my callers here. But concerning this Frisco stabbing, let me show you this quick clip of someone getting mad in a similar way about racism, maybe. Now, I don't know. Was it racism involved with Frisco? No, but I don't know. But this woman is saying her situation involved racism. And this woman went to a clinic. In California, and her name is Kiera King. And she described the blatant racism behind an incident where medical assistant at Perlman Clinic Modern Healthcare printed her name on a test kit as King Kong. Black woman comes in, gets her blood tested. Sudden racism ensues. The name printed is King Kong. Is this a brutal racist offense? What do y'all think?
With this sample. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Can you understand as a black woman why I would have this?
She's showing
sample?
it to the nurse. She's like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Can you understand as a black woman why I would have a problem with that? Yeah, I can double check who. How could that be a mistake? Because this King, that's my last name, right? Uh-huh. Comma would be my first name, correct? Uh-huh. Yeah. How do you misspell Kiera as Kong?
It's an easy mistake. Anyone can make that mistake.
That's insane.
Yeah, I can double check who did that. I'm honestly not sure who printed that.
Now it's gonna be a witch hunt for whoever printed this name. She's like, I can definitely check. The woman handling this has now made this way worse if you consider for a moment the way women handle things. She, instead of saying, I'm not sure exactly why at all or whatever, she goes, oh my God, already justifying her outrage, and she says, let me find out who did it. And now it's a witch hunt. We're gonna get this guy. And that's like, is this proportionate? Let's watch a bit of this before.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Previously, we've never had any sort of issue like that. I understand where you're coming from.
I'm on fire. I'm on fire right now. That's unacceptable. And even if it is a typo, which if they want to pull that and say that that's what it was.
Okay, maybe he was thinking. Maybe he saw. Okay, maybe it was like a typo, and you're just like alliteration, and you're just like King, and then you're just thinking King Kong. It's alliteration, okay? But let's just say for a moment that this person thought to themselves, they saw this black woman, and her name's King K, and they're like, King, they're writing it out, and they thought to themselves, black woman, monkey, King Kong, right? Let's say it was like that. Not even malicious, but just kind of connections in the mind. Is that something to get mad about? No. Let's say it's even the worst level, where this person saw this black woman and saw King and thought, haha, like a gorilla, right, haha, King Kong. Let's say it's that. That's what, and then let's assume that it was even a white person doing it. That's what white people do to black people. That's what it amounts to. Unless I got this impression wrong, someone wants to tell me otherwise, 888-775-3773. That's kind of what it amounts to, no? That's what white people do to black people. It's like, oh, that's terrible. Let's watch a bit more of this because I want to get to my call, 888-775-3773. I got callers coming in, thanks. We'll get right to you here. Almost done with this.
How? Seriously?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure how that happened.
See, Sal, I'm not thinking. I'm just saying, assume for a moment that that's let's assume that the person was thinking that, Cecil, like the worst thing. Let's assume the worst thing. I was saying even that's not necessarily a good reason to be outraged like this.
I'm saying. So are you able to like go in and see like who did it, what? Because that in my chart. How does that happen?
Let me double check. No, like that's not anywhere in the chart. I do see your name is listed here as King, which let me see.
Right.
She's like clicking away frantically. The answer's not in the computer, nurse. What are you looking for? She's like clicking away. Your name is Kira King in the files. Let me see what the answer to this situation is. You're not gonna find it in there. You hear her clicking in the background.
Like that's like reportable. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh man, hostage situation.
Just try to get more information. Okay?
She's got that aggressive King Kong energy, says Will Cole.
Apologize again. It wasn't me who like printed that label.
I understand.
I'm not sure how it happened.
I understand. I cannot.
I'm furious. I don't know if I'd be furious. Like, what if I got something back and it said Nicholas, I don't know, Nicholas Webback or something. Nick Mexican. I don't know what I'd say. I don't know what I'd think. I mean, I think, honestly, my first thing wouldn't be anger. It'd be kind of humor. I mean, I might internally have to make some decision. Like, I don't know exactly what. I'm doing a what if. It's weird here, but I got some blood tests back. I might laugh. I might even post, but I wouldn't be, like, making it a racist thing. I'd be maybe concerned this is my medical practitioner. I want to know what motivations are going on here, maybe, but that's just because of me. That's a me thing and me wanting to get the best healthcare for myself. I don't know. I wouldn't make this a racist thing. That'd be crazy. But I don't know if I get this mad. That's definitely not. But what can I say? I just wanted to show you this real quick. Let me get to my calls. My calls who've been very patient. I got Darren out of California. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Appreciate your call.
Thank you, baby. What's up?
What's up,
it's
Darren?
DJ Darren.
All is well, sir. And yourself?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing? I'm over here, as usual, over in Venice.
Nice shout out, man. Right on.
Well, I got a major power announcement for LA, and also I'm just kind of tying it into also helping out world peace and also ending racism and energy efficiency all in one. I'm just going to tie it in right now.
Hit me.
So here we go. I got 2 out of 4 solar panels installed on my RV right now, fully functioning and operating. The other 2 will be functioning in a day or 2. I am now a fully functioning power company, DJ Darren Power Co. here in the area of Venice.
What? Don't announce your business, man.
I will be offering energy.
Don't be doing that. Hey, Darren. Don't announce like your business, man. Yo, Darren.
What up?
So go on. You were talking about these solar panels on your RV.
Yeah, I'm off the grid now. I create so much power right now. I just plug in people's electric bikes or scooter, all sorts of stuff now. I'm up here charging now. You know how I tie it into ending racism?
Oh yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
If you can offer, if everyone starts getting solar, right, then you got to take care of people's needs. If people's basic needs are not met, then their stress levels are going to be high, anger and all that stuff. They take it out in all different forms. You know, anger and, racism, but we know racism doesn't exist. They're going to take it out, all that. So people's basic needs are food, shelter, and also power. So people don't have power out here. Power is expensive. Prices are going up right now because we got the tariff war going on. So, just get more solar out there, get people off the grid more, get those basic needs covered. Like I said, I'm now a self-operating power company.
But that's like that's an old theory. That's an old theory, Darren.
What?
The people are unproductive and criminal simply because they are unable to get basic stuff. So give them those things and you will go up. But I think that equation is backwards. That's
off topic. You're getting off topic. I'm just saying that when people have basic needs, and when those basic needs aren't met through whatever source, we're not even going in that whole tree, that their stress levels and angers and all that, whether it be food, shelter, energy, a good job, satisfaction at a job, any of it could be a relationship.
Say again? Yeah, I gotcha.
But power is one of them. Some people can't afford power. Sometimes people get the power shut off. A lot of people lost their homes in the last few years and whatnot. The economy moved into RVs. Millions of people did. Lost their homes and all that into RVs. A lot of those RVs don't have power. Yeah, millions of people out there with kind of power concerns right now. Kind of sucks when you don't have power and have a fridge. Or power.
You'll definitely make people feel better, and they will be fat and sassy when they have stuff, and they probably won't do so much, in some cases, crime. But I appreciate your call, Darren. I appreciate that, sir. Shout out to
I want people to get excited about it and get off grid and the best you can. You know, the more you can do to get off grid and lessen your dependency on the government, the better.
Right on,
you know,
Darren.
Grow your own food, get off grid, supply your own power. Right now, with unlimited power, I'll give you a little hint. I could run a humidifier and create my own water all day because I have unlimited power now. There you go. Now I can create water.
That is actually pretty cool. Yeah, making self-sufficiency. You do it in an urban jungle kind of way. Right on, Darren. Well,
yeah, I'm out here urban surviving on the streets, and now I'm a power company.
Well, appreciate your call, man. Call me again.
Love you, buddy. Talk to you later.
Take care, sir. 888-775-3773. Yeah. Let's see here. What was I going to do? I wanted to show you this guy. This guy, he's like a huge streamer. He's young. Whoa, what's going on there? Oops. So there's this guy. He goes by I Show Speed on the internet, and this young YouTuber guy, internet guy, whatever. And he's just been blowing up over the past few years, becoming one of the biggest content creators, streamers, or whatever in the world. Just major views, streams. This guy is interesting for a number of reasons. Just crazy content sometimes, but anyway, I just see him every now and again. But I see that he goes around the world a lot. That's something I noticed. I noticed he travels around. And it looks like he's in China. I don't know if he still is or whatever, but it seems like he's in China. And that's been an interesting little thing. He's learning how to be like a monk out there. But there's like all these interesting cultural moments. There's just, where was it? Let's see if I can find some. Just interesting cultural moments. Just you're seeing for huge American audiences this kind of way deeper look China that you don't really get. There's literally an American guy with a camera strapped onto him, traveling around touristy, non-touristy areas, like kind of deep in some places, and these places that he visits, in this case, China. And you get to see it live. Not like a TikTok, not like a edited video. You see it live. He's going around. He's talking to people, having conversations. It's fascinating. And so China's pretty fascinating. No matter what you see, no matter what, good, bad, foe or not, it's a fascinating nation. And they are not afraid to say the N-word. That is so great. That is one of the main features of this guy's streams around the world. Is he basically he went to like Romania, Europe, he went to Italy, now he's in China. I forget where else he went. He might have gone to other crazy places. I swear, one of the features of his streams is that people from all over the country, wherever country he's in, they'll travel far too. Sometimes they'll post how many miles they travel and all that. They travel far just so they could go right up to him while he's streaming live and to say the N-word to him, and to just say he's black and I'm racist and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. It's like maybe foreign comedy. It's a little bit kind of like maybe kind of fobby comedy. Maybe I think it's a combination of things, because it's also a lot of young Zoomer looking internet savvy types as well. Even as foreign as some of these countries he goes to, the internet is a global phenomenon at this point. And so, so you understand a little bit of what I'm saying here? He's over there, and some of these interactions is just like, it's like a bizarro world. It's like the questions arise of what's happening with the younger generations, how they think. Their mentality to so-called censorship and hate speech and those kinds of things. That's an interesting thing. And I got to say, to throw this in too, I personally like how I Show Speed handles all that. If there's an example, I got to say, this young black man, 20 years old, he's young. This young black man, he's got the right attitude. And I don't watch all his stuff right now. So maybe he's out there getting mad at someone saying the N-word. Maybe I just haven't seen it. But I swear, every clip I've seen where someone's being so-called racist to his face, he handles it with the best energy, you know. And I don't think he's a conservative or anything. And he probably thinks white people are not allowed to say the N-word. And probably thinks things like that, right? But, oh man, can I even play this? I think she's going to spam the N-word. This little Asian girl is just going to start spamming the N-word here. And I disavow such things, right? I disavow such things. I disavow everything this young little girl is going to say. I'm reporting the news here. I Show Speed versus this young Chinese woman.
You're racist.
Yeah, hold on. See, she's saying I'm racist, and he's just right incredulous. You're saying you're racist to me? So he's asking her what she means.
I'm racist. You're racist? Yes. I'm a nigger killer. I'm so sorry about that. But what? I love your girlfriend because your girlfriend is white people. I love her. What? Yes, that's true. I'm so sorry about that because Wait. I don't think you understand what you're saying. Do you speak English? Yes, I am racist. What? What the fuck?
Oh, sorry. I am racist. Gen Z is on another level, they're saying. What is going on? He honestly does get crazy about it. Every clip I've seen, he's going around the world getting called an N-word. He's like going around the world getting called N-word, and he handles it great. I have to say, every clip I've ever seen, this woman this young lady sounds retarded as F. What the hell is going on here? Asked Chase from Texas. I honestly think a lot of internet is what's going on here. Some young Chinese girl, she's got some cat ear thing on. I think that's what's happening here. A lot of internet being edgy, saying the N-word to the black famous streamer coming into your country. And also maybe a commentary on some concepts and ideas that have really gone mainstream, like racism, for example. And I don't mean being evil, but just saying, wow, I'm allowed to say, I don't like when black people do this, or I don't like when this does that. And I'm allowed, and you know what? China is for Chinese people, right? Those kind of concepts are like 4chan, weirdo, off the deep end concepts. I'm telling you, the way the internet and the general space is now these days, those things are mainstream. Nick Fuentes is mainstream. Kanye West, this is mainstream. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It seems bad in a lot of cases because they don't really understand. The world doesn't quite truly understand what's going on. But whatever, on this, to answer your question, Chase, an attempt here. What is going on here? It's a little bit of what I tried. But yeah, shout out I Show Speed. What do I want to say about this? I like the way he handles that. There's other even better ones. He handles it quite well, in my opinion. He doesn't get tripped out about it. And it's all engagement farming. And a lot of I gotta say, in my opinion, I bet you a lot of these guys are his fans. If I gather what his content is like and his fans are like, this may even be just part of the memeing. So it's all love. Here he is getting handed cotton. Here he is being gifted cotton by the Chinese folk, the local Chinese.
Speed, this is for you.
Speed.
What is this? It's a cotton. Look,
cotton. He said it's a cotton.
Look. Cotton? I never got gifted cotton. You are not now? Cristiano, my friend. Why did you give me?
Look, he starts picking the cotton. He starts, in fact, picking the cotton right away.
Why did you give me cotton? W give, chat.
He says W give.
W give.
Yeah.
Bro, y'all be gifting me anything in China, bro. I'm not gonna cap.
Thank you. Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out I Show Speed, uniting the races with not tripping out and jokes, instead of dividing them with isms. Okay. Now let's hope the U.S. government stays out of this. This is a beautiful relationship between I Show Speed and China. Personally, if you ask me, I hope the U.S. government stays out of this relationship, and that there are no smear campaigns against I Show Speed, or I don't know, or maybe it comes out that he's paid by the CCP. I don't know. The Blinked one says the cotton is actually pretty thoughtful. Nice. I Show Speed is too rich to care. Nice. So anyways, let's move on, I think. And Nick wonders why. What? Are you serious? You guys want to see Asians fighting on a plane? I ain't never seen this. Since we're in China. Passenger bites flight attendant during flight after argument over body odor. Is this the beginnings of a zombie thing? You start getting the reports, bites, man bites, bite reports. But I never, this is on a Chinese plane with only Chinese people. No demographics changed. No, none that I could tell, right? This is as far as I could tell, this is a Chinese plane with Chinese people. Okay? Hold on, I'm trying to refresh. You know, just sites we've never seen. A little segment we can call Sites We've Never Seen. Rare sites. Oh, come on. This is terrible. Trying to use the internet here. Please, can we watch the video? Please, can we watch the video? All right. Who needs the video?
Texas was
okay. Guess we gotta watch an ad, maybe. We'll get back to that. But anyways, Asians on a plane. They're fighting. Okay, watch.
Live full service.
What the? Toma! They're freaking out. She's chimping out. What a mess. Somebody subdue this person. She's pushing off the male, the female flight attendant pushing off the help of the advancing male passenger. Of course, just trying to protect him from the zombie. Yep, it's a zombie outbreak. They're biting him. He's like, back up. She like puts hands on him. She's like, back up. Back up. All right, so that's it. He's on a plane fighting. Thought you might just want to see. Okay, so I wanted to get to, honestly, I was just messing around with that, having some fun here on this fine Thursday. I came across this the other day, and I was thinking a little bit about it. It has to do with Luigi Mangione. You're familiar with Luigi. Luigi Mangione. He's the one that killed that United Healthcare CEO. A murder. Like straight up ambush murder. Follows him out, coming out of a hotel, New York, busy street, early in the morning. Shoots him dead. Becomes a... escapes off and becomes a... what do you call him? A runaway... Not a runaway. What do you call him? You know, on the loose. He's on the run. Allegedly. He allegedly shot this. So, you know him, right? Luigi Mangione. They got him. They eventually got him, arrested him. He is facing murder charges. But here's the news, basically. If he's convicted over the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Attorney General Pam Bondi pledged that Luigi Mangione will face the death penalty. Pam Bondi. A whole lot of women. No, sorry. Willing to bring back the death penalty. But that's Trump's AG, Attorney General there. And I was looking at that. I just thought it was an interesting statement. This death penalty stuff. You know, I definitely have no problem with it. I'm not coming at it from there. In fact, I love it. Death. In fact, death. Through the legal means of the death penalty and the constitutional rights of, afforded to whatever individual. But death to them, no. I'm making a bit of a joke. Look, this death penalty stuff is this deterrent. And when you look at stuff like this, now I don't know, we'll see what the deets are exactly on this story. But check it out. Walgreens employee killed in a Luigi-style ambush in California by a man opposing pharma companies. And it's as it says, and that's coming from the police. I don't know their methodology or why they're saying that, but that is coming from law enforcement. They're saying this random murder of a Walgreens employee may have been due to this anti-pharma, anti-medical industry bend that this individual may have. You know, they're calling it a Luigi-style ambush. And I don't know how much of that is propaganda. Again, just want to make that clear. But here's a little bit of this ABC clip.
This chilling surveillance video. Narciso Gallardo Fernandez seen shooting at the camera just moments after allegedly killing a Walgreens employee. Police say Hernandez went to the parking lot to reload.
There is no relation between Narciso and Eric Velasquez.
Madera Police Chief Gino Chermonte says Narciso drove from Pixley, showing up at the Walgreens off Cleveland Avenue just before closing Monday.
We do know he has a general disdain or grudge against pharmacies, large-scale pharmacies.
So, that's a fascinating thing, man. It is so angry and crazy out there in the minds and hearts of people. And there's no stops. There is nobody in the homes teaching you that anger, that there's nothing in the world that justifies anger, that is a path that will lead to only destruction. And then you can't even get justice or do anything that you consider right in your anger because the anger will destroy all. So you don't have anybody in the homes teaching you that. You don't have any stops in society that say that the world loves to blame, right? You're taught it's like all this is like someone else's fault. There's all these forces trying to convince you of that. And then you don't have any. You have this general anger. You have consider for a moment the example that this racism hostage situation has to the world. It goes far beyond anything to do with black people because it primes people for this oppressor mentality. It primes people for this victim mentality. And so you can concoct all sorts of stories. I mean, these Hispanics, these Mexicans, they are so quick to adopt this stuff. It's so weird. They're so quick to they're so angry at their parents that they are just so confused, especially in California too, those that grew up kind of with blacks and all that, or just the culture. They got this weird identity problem. And you can see it. It's like a chip on their shoulder. And so they identify with oppressor mentalities. And they suddenly now I'm a Chicano. And it's like, bro, you went to high school in Riverside or something. You know what I mean? They love adopting this stuff, this LARP so fast. I think that's also why these Hispanics, Mexicans, they also adopt the emo stuff and all that so fast. They're really mad at their families and they got major identity crisis. And your identity is not, that doesn't mean to now fall into your race and all that. That's part of the problem. think you're primed. You Hispanics out there, you're kind of primed to overcome this identity stuff. No, you're not this, you're not that, you're too far for this, too not enough for that. You're kind of in a perfect situation to overcome this identity stuff, which is only bringing you misery. Yeah, so you see this Mexican guy, a seemingly Hispanic guy, shooting the camera here into this anti-pharma stuff, ready to blame, ready to say it's someone else's fault. You know, you just had this caller I had, and shout out Darren, he's a nice guy. He's like, the world is just mad because they don't have enough stuff. Just give them energy and like food. It's like, but the world's angry and evil. And and that's not going to stop that. That's not going to change that. Making pharmaceuticals cheaper. I don't even know where to go with that, but so the death, you know, when you consider these things, for a moment, you realize hell is endless. Hell has no bottom. It keeps going. You know the barbarians and savage stories you hear about in culture, far, far away stories in books, in history books maybe, and they're around the corner. And if you knew the barbarism of a wicked heart, it's like in this barbaric world, a barbaric yet somewhat civilized thing like the death penalty is like necessary. You know, it's crazy. I don't know. I don't want to go. It's like, okay, you got one Luigi style murder. So it's not like an epidemic, but the epidemic's there, folks. The people are angry and they're getting angry and there's no stops. There's no stops in society, the family, in our culture, and how we handle with each other. It's all just like green lights go to escalation. In all cases, man, woman, black, white, left, right, it's all just escalation mode. Let's go. Like, so anyways. That's the Mangione thing a bit. Looking at this news that he's facing is Pam Bondi facing the death penalty. Bondi said in a statement that her office would push for the ultimate punishment, describing Thompson's assassination in December as premeditated and cold-blooded. After careful consideration, I have directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty in the case as we carry out President Trump's agenda to stop violent crime and make America safe again. And if he gets it better be quick, too. It has to be fast. It can't be this, like, politicized thing and it's back and forth. What a crime that is to threaten death penalty for decades and endlessly deliberate that, or just, I don't know, it's just, that's silly. That's silliness. He's being charged in federal court, allowing prosecutors to seek the death penalty as it is outlawed in New York, where Mangione allegedly shot and killed Thompson. Outside a Manhattan hotel, Mangione was met with an outpouring of support after his arrest as morbid fans vented their fury with the healthcare system. It's always one of the main features of this whole thing, of this story and topic, Mangione, anger. It's the contingency of the contingent of the population that is actually spiritually aligned with the most radical. It's like when you have Mangione out there doing the shooting, it's a whole nother thing. All the supporters that love him, that maybe even are like somewhat critical, but they like him, right? They support him. Consider for a moment, even your lawful, your in a sense lawful black person. When it comes down to black and race, like, it's a fight still. And this is your lawful, right? Because they spiritually agree with those, with the racism stuff, that it's racism, that there's a thrill in being able to harm white people in that way, to be able to rob and steal from them, be able to touch them like that. There's a thrill there. And so you understand, there's something to be said about that, right? I think you can see that in many other ways, in the right wing. I mean, even amongst white people, if you wanted to be all fair about it. But it's just, you understand what I'm getting at here. There's like this, the Black Lives Matter, the kill CEOs on the streets people. And and then you have the way bigger group that is not saying exactly that, but like agree with that and spiritually like support them and wouldn't say. And so you see why, and that kind of explains why you have such a deep, seemingly radical fight outwardly, because they are proxies of what the general populace feels. When you have the extreme, the left and the right, you got red pill and just, I don't know, feminists. Because they are proxies for how the rest of the people feel in not so radical ways. Okay, so what else? What else about this? That's pretty much it with all that, Mangione. What a mess. What a mess. So angry. But that's pretty much it, folks. That is pretty much it. Yep. And that's all the topics today. I want to check over my super chats here. See if I can go over some of these overflow things with you in the last few minutes. I might have a nice video for you. I might have a fun video for you. Let me check. I might have a nice video for you in the last few minutes. Tomorrow's Friday. We've been Nick streaming on the Fridays, doing the Kingdom Come deliverance stuff. Can I be? I'm down tomorrow. I'm still down. Can I be honest? I'm like this a little bit. Like kind of like waning a little bit. Because I'm just not that kind of guy. Like to sit on like a long single player story driven campaign. I just don't do that anymore. It seems like fun. It seems like it's well drawn and like they did the voice acting cool, but maybe I'm a little bit of a classic gamer. Like, let's get to the fun. Let me not poop. We'll see what we get up to tomorrow, Friday. But make sure you like and subscribe. All I'm really trying to say is that I might move it. I might move it exactly when we do that kind of stuff. Or maybe we just need a break. Maybe we just need a break and we'll come back to it. But anyways, Henry's story has been interesting. Kingdom Come. I'll let you know what we get up to tomorrow. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and do all those things. Support the channels. You can support on Rumble, on YouTube. Make an account on punchy.tv. And if you click that notifications and all that, you'll be up to date with what I'm up to when I go live and when we do some of this fun stuff, okay? Other than that, though, it seems like that's all the super chats, topics, and all that. We got a Rumble rant from Derek. Thank you, sir. Says, so much wisdom in between the lines, as always. Thanks again to you, Jesse and Bond. Always a pleasure, Derek. Appreciate you listening, man. Just going from the heart. Whatever's there is there. Amazing. Beautiful supporters. My beautiful supporters. Black Friday is going to be fun. We got the third Black Friday on the JLP show tomorrow. That's been an interesting, fresh new thing. We want a flight, Nit. You guys definitely want a flight. Amazing stuff. So Black Friday, American Anchor Baby, and more. Definitely want to be subscribed and following and all the things, okay? Chris says, might not be the best choice to stream. You'll be streaming it for the next year. Go back to the plantain. Yeah, see what I mean? Like it was fun, but I'm waning a bit. I'm getting a little bit bored. I want to shoot. If I'm gonna game something, I want to shoot and show everything is fake. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, and I'm actually good. I'll show you everything is fake. I can shoot. I have 3K on Tarkov. But anyways, all right. We need a search and rescue flight for Pete. Amazing. Okay, so that's it, folks. I don't even have another fun video. We're going to leave everything for tomorrow. You know what? I may have actually a funny video for you. Here's a funny video for you. RFK Jr.
Bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read and I
Wait, what? We're going to have to play that back. RFK Jr., Make America Healthy Again. What are you talking about?
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read. And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin and then I could sit still because suddenly I could read. And so I went to the top of my class. What a fascinating, out of context clip, RFK Jr. I'm not doing you justice by figuring out why exactly you said that. We're going to leave it at that cliffhanger. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Take care. See you tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby and all that, okay? But that is it from me. Appreciate the support, the Rumble Rant, Super Chats, calls, and beyond. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.